We welcome you back to AMF Babylon Lanes here in West Babylon, New York on Long Island. Match number 2, the GEICO Mark Roth Plastic Ball Championship. Walter Ray Williams Jr. up 22 through 5.5.
All right, let's take a look at catching. You're dealing with two players that have similar rev rates. Wayne Garber playing right around the 12.5 board, 12-13. Guess what? Walter Ray Williams Jr. is mirroring him. But right now, the advantage, Walter Ray Williams Jr., he has a 4-bagger and a 22-pin lead.
Garber started off with 3 spares. Since then, strike, and he needs to get a rather big bag of strikes right now if he's going to pose any threat to Walter Ray.
Came out of commercial, get a little soft, and when you haven't been on the show a lot, that happens to you a lot. To sort of turn it early, too, though.
Yeah, it looked like it was early turn and tug, and he's going to pay for it. Oh, yeah, that was almost third arrow there.
Talked to Wayne the other day and asked him what he did with his downtime last couple weeks, and he said, you know, I went surfing the web. Went over to YouTube.com and watched the Wichita show, which he was on, and surprisingly enough, he said he chuckled at our commentary, Randy, and put him in a good mood and in a good frame of mind as he headed here to Long Island. But he was actually joking with his friends, saying, you know, I had really low expectations coming out here. You know, I was actually thinking of getting somebody to sub for me. And here he is a couple months ago in Wichita, taking on Walter Ray Williams Jr. in a roll-off, and where he throws a 9 in the second ball roll-off, which was enough to propel him to the title game, which he eventually lost to Mike Scroggins.
Yeah, well, that was after Walter Ray got 7. He steps up and gets 9. I think the last thing Walter Ray wanted to do was give him a hug after that roll-off.
Yeah.
You know, I think Walter Ray would have rather taken a bite out of him because Walter was not happy with that performance.
There's the needed strike for Garber.
You know, as Walter Ray gets up, this is such a great shot because you have Mark sitting behind him, and Walter Ray, you know, arguably the greatest of all time, and the things that Mark did that is so special that we don't want to forget. Like in 77, 78, 79, Mark both for the title 30 times, and was high average 4 times, and just totally dominated the way that Walter Ray is dominating right now.
5 in a row for WRWJ, and if you go back to 1993 at the Paula Carter Homestead Classic, as we take a look at a bioblast of Walter Ray, he voluntarily used a plastic ball to win that one. He's the last PBA pro to voluntarily use a plastic ball and win a tournament, again seeking tour title number 48. And we always forget, not always, we sometimes forget, he's a pretty darn good horseshoe thrower as well.
Yeah, yes.
He knows he's got this one wrapped up. He's got that smile. And he is in very comfortable position right now, up 56.
Hey, John, getting back to Mark Roth and what he did in the late 70s and how he totally dominated this tour. But, I mean, you know Mark as well as anyone, and I'm sure you guys probably roomed together off and on for quite a while. Any truth to the rumor that he used to sleep with a nightlight, not because he was afraid of the dark, but because the dark was afraid of him?
Yeah, that's pretty good, Randy.
I just wondered, any truth to that?
Any truth to that?
You know, he was a bad man back then.
He hated to lose more than he liked to win, that's for sure. When we would do an exhibition, if we were bowling a doubles match against 2 locals and we were down that first game, he'd pull me over, give me a pep talk. We're not going to let these 2 guys beat us.
That's nice.
It was, you know, winning was the only thing that was in his repertoire, which is a lot like Earl. And we have to remember that he won 34 times during the Earl Anthony era, which means that he probably would have won 44 if Earl wasn't around.
Garber drops a 3-ball there in the 9th and makes way for Walter Ray Williams Jr. We talked about Walter Ray and his penchant for driving across the country in his RVs. You take a look at other finishers this week. Bill O'Neill's on top of the Player of the Year points list for now, finished 8th. And Walter Ray will be heading down to Baltimore, the season's final tournament. There's your son, Johnny Stragler Jr. at 11. Another strike for Walter Ray. Ho-hum this match. So Walter Ray's going to drive down to Baltimore when this event is done. Jason Belmonte needs a lift. As of now, he's going to drive Jason Belmonte, your #1 seed, down to Baltimore in the RV. And I said to Jason before, I said, hey, do you think Walter Ray will give you the keys? Let you take the RV for a spin? He just started laughing. He's like, I drive on the wrong side of the road, but, in an RV, might makes right. Yeah, this one is all over but the shouting.
Hey, Rob, 8 in a row.
An octomom from Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Octomom.
An octomom. That one I like.
Hey, John, real quick, though. Congrats goes out to John Jr. for finishing 11th. What a great week for him. But do you remember back when I stayed at your place, a few years back, and John was just a little guy, and we were upstairs horse playing, and I broke his bed?
You broke his bed? Rob, he was wrestling with my son.
First, does America really want to know the details of this story?
It's the best part of the story. My son was 9, and he body slammed him on the bed and broke the bed, and then they were standing next to each other in the kitchen, and my wife scolded them.
Nice.
It's great.
Nice. Well done, Randy. I'm glad to see you've matured so much.
Absolutely. How about Walter Ray just coming out and going to fire a little 280 at Wayne Garber saying, hey, I didn't appreciate the beating I got from you in Wichita, so here, take a little 280 with you, and I'll see you in Baltimore next week.
Right, and the second frame was a flush 10.
Yeah.
280.
Rob, you had your opportunity. You missed it right there. There's your Bo Derek.
I was caught off guard. My bad. I had my head down doing some number crunching.
Wow. Hey, well, I'll tell you one thing is coming to fruition, and that's the big scores. And we're having big scores. Lots of strikes being thrown. You got Walter Ray. You got Jason Belmonte. But how about the local guy getting ready to come up, Brian Zeisig?
Now, people don't know Brian Randy. This is a player right here. Terrific bowler.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing him. And, Johnny, we want to thank you for joining us. A pleasure. As
always,
always,
Rob, as always.
To see you and to have you in the booth.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you, Ray.
Make it a regular strop. Come on. So, Walter Ray moves on in convincing fashion. A 70-pin win over Wayne Garber. Up next for him, the amateur and local boy, Brian Zeisig.